Coming up this week on Oklahoma Horizon. Well, opening trade with Cuba is closer than it's been in nearly half a century, yet obstacles still remain. This week, we examine how free trade between two Cold War enemies is heating up.
From a geographical location, from a logistical standpoint, this ought to be our market, and we hopefully someday will get to that point. And yes, it has been frustrating, but we are making progress.
Courtney Dehoff shows us how some state groups are fighting childhood obesity by getting kids up and moving. Yeah! Russ Joel introduces us to some Oklahomans growing food for fun and for profit.
A giant tomato grower will choose his varieties of tomatoes based on what can be picked green and shipped well for thousands of miles, whereas your local grower will choose varieties based on how good they taste.
And we head to Anadarko, Oklahoma to see whatever happened to an Oklahoma shirt maker for the Stars. Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in career tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Well, when President Obama eased trade and travel restrictions to Cuba in the spring of 2009, he gave hope that a trade embargo begun in the Cold War is finally beginning to thaw. Now, since that time, the Cuban government has eased travel restrictions on its own citizens, and seemingly our relationship with the island nation just off the Florida coast is ever so slowly improving. Yet the one area that a group of Oklahomans has been working on for years has yet to come to fruition: the unfettered flow of Oklahoma agricultural exports to a country of 11 million people in dire need of them. The streets of Havana are filled these days with tourists from all around the world. But among the revelers, a trade delegation from Oklahoma wanting to export food to this island nation just off the Florida coast.
These people have to eat, and we have good products. And the thing that I like about the location is where we are, especially in Oklahoma. We could get our product to the port very easily. We take it to the port anyway and get it here very quickly. Less freight. I mean, freight's a big cost for a lot of ag producers right now.
And that they have done. In the fall of 2004, the first ship in over 40 years arrived in Cuba filled full of Oklahoma wheat. A shipment Oklahoma farmers had hoped would be the first of many more to come. But that hasn't happened.
Our government changed the rules a little bit and made them prepay for the wheat that we bought. When that happened, it really made it a lot more difficult.
Federal obstacles that dried up future sales. Unlike other countries we export to, Cuba must pay in cash before delivery on ships that can't return to the U.S. for a full year, a hurdle that angers Cuban officials and frustrates state leaders.
Well, there is a little bit of frustration that we're not as far as what we would have liked to have been from where we were 6 or 7 years ago. From a geographical location, from a logistical standpoint, this ought to be our market. And we hopefully someday will get to that point. And yes, it has been frustrating, but we are making progress.
Yet everyone here knows that if we are to accomplish true trade between our two countries, the true obstacles no longer lie here in Havana, Cuba, but across the ocean in our nation's capital. Enthusiasm over lifting of the U.S. trade embargo waned among our nation's lawmakers after an American aid worker was sentenced to 15 years in prison for smuggling a satellite phone chip into Cuba. A hardline stance that some believe will only weaken with new leadership. Yet, in February, 81-year-old Raul Castro, brother to 86-year-old Fidel Castro, was elected to what he says will be his final 5-year term as Cuban president. And only then may the trade embargo begin to ease like past travel restrictions have.
We receive 2 million tourists a year, and a little over that this year. And if we get an additional 1.5 to 2 million, conservatively speaking, from the U.S., that will definitely duplicate the figures that we're seeing, not only in people coming, but in revenues.
Revenue, the grain industry believes, could lead to more sales. Tom McCrite is CEO of Equity Marketing.
Any kind of relationship that we can build with any foreign country importer of our commodities is a positive thing. After visiting with some of the authorities here this morning, I feel there is a very good potential that we'll be able to export our hard red winter wheat into Cuba, if not immediately, certainly in the future.
And according to Oklahoma's former Ag Secretary, the opening of the Cuban market is no longer a question of if, but of when.
We feel like we're building a relationship with the leadership in Cuba, and that we're developing that trust. And I think when the market sure opens and we normalize trade with Cuba, that we'll be a step ahead of everyone, because they're going to say, let's call those Oklahoma people. They took us a chance on us early. Now we know they're our friends.
Work that state lawmakers believe will not be wasted if and when the largest export market in the Caribbean opens to U.S. trade.
The scenario I use, regardless of where you're at, a lot is about relationships. When you develop good relationships with individuals and communication exists, you can tackle any problems that confront you in a much better fashion than you can if you have to sit down and later start to get to know these people and open up those relationships.
And opening a new era between two former Cold War rivals. Well, for decades, one of the largest obstacles in normalized relations with Cuba was Cuban Americans, many who fled the island during the communist takeover, and their continued hatred of the Castro regime. But even that has begun to thaw. Just this past month, the Cuba Study Group, which is made up of Cuban American exiles, for the first time called for the relaxing of international sanctions, because rather than advancing changes in the island, they now believe the sanctions are only delaying the very economic and political changes that group seeks. Now, when we return, I visit with some lawmakers I accompanied on my trips to Cuba.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Well, in the short term, it's Oklahoma's agriculture industry that benefits the most from expanded trade with Cuba. Earlier, I visited with some gentlemen who have all worked on opening that market. And from an economic standpoint, Representative Arms, for a country that prides itself on its free enterprise system, we're not being very free right now.
We still have a lot of old wounds. I think, you know, our government still has a distrust of their government. And while I understand that, I think there's been enough water under the bridge that I think it's ridiculous not to try to open that door, as Terry says. And you know, my big deal, of course, I think if we get enough Americans down there, there's a beef market there too. Because as Americans travel and they pull into those nice resorts, and as you know, we all were there, it's a beautiful country and ripe with tourism opportunities. I think there's a tremendous opportunity to sell prime beef to those nice restaurants that the Americans would then go to, and I promise you, a lot of people from the other parts of the world, we could sell that to them also. So the obvious things, the pork and the things that their culture uses now, and wheat, which they love our wheat, by the way. It mills very nicely. It's just a great quality product for them, and their millers like it a lot. But those are the natural fits. I think we build other markets too, and I just think it's a logical. I mean, it is. It's 90 miles away. You can bounce a ship. Bounce a ship's probably not a very good term. We can send a semi from Oklahoma with a load of wheat, put it on a ship at Houston, and it's in Cuba in a matter of just a little bit. And it's not a long haul. It's not like going over the Atlantic or over the Pacific. It's just it's a hop, so to speak. And it just makes more sense to trade with them than it makes sense not to.
And Senator Warwick, I appreciate a point that you made the last time we were in Cuba, is while this market may not be open, when it does become open, we're ready.
Absolutely, and that's what I appreciate about the opportunity to go in the past. Our State Commissioner of Ag has led a delegation down there several times, and we're ready. There's, you know, beef, wheat, all sorts of agricultural products. This country, we ship a lot of whole milk powder to countries far and away, long distances, much further than Cuba. And in the past, the devaluation of the U.S. dollar has opened the door for some export opportunities for products from this nation to other countries. But here's one that's right in our back door that, because of all the problems that exist, as Terry was mentioning about the exchange of money, one of the officials down there explained to me that if this exchange took place over a weekend and you made that exchange through a European bank, that this added days to the transaction, which creates major problems. So like I say, I think we're ready. I'm excited about the opportunity as things change in the future, and optimistic they will change in a way that will help agriculture, Oklahoma agriculture, and agriculture in general from the United States in partnering with Cuba.
Gentlemen, thank you all. And we continue our conversation about the future of Cuba on our website. Simply go to okhorizon.com, where we also have links to previous stories about the island nation.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon, sharing the harvest. But first, fighting childhood obesity with exercise and nutrition.
Well, about 1 in 3 children in the United States are either overweight or obese. And overweight kids are more likely to become overweight adults, which is why some Oklahoma groups are working together to help Oklahoma's youth eat better and become more active. Now, our Courtney DeHoff has been looking at the program and joins us now.
Well, Rob, some experts believe that if obesity continues to increase at the rate it's going, our children could be the first in American history to live shorter lives than their parents. Not only are overweight children more vulnerable to the early onset of type 2 diabetes, obese young people can also develop asthma and even heart disease. And while the complications to childhood obesity are many, the solution is fairly simple. Get up and get moving. Well, kids in Edmond are getting their game on, moving more and watching less. Oklahoma Action for Healthy Kids brings the ultimate wellness challenge to Edmond Public Schools. 5th and 6th graders are being challenged to do the unthinkable, step out of virtual world and into one of active fun and health. Judy Duncan is the director of the Strong and Healthy Oklahoma Division at the Oklahoma State Department of Health.
We are trying to emphasize the importance of reducing screen time for children and families. This is the National Turn Off TV Week, and we have renamed it Move More, Watch Less. It's an activity that we're hosting annually.
The non-competitive Wellness Challenge incorporates 23 challenge course stations, a healthy meal, and nutrition education. Former OU football player Rocky Kalmus knows how important it is for parents and children to get involved in getting healthy.
You don't have to be in a football sport or basketball or baseball or soccer or to be active and to be healthy, and you know, they can just go out here and do their own game and their own activities, and you know, just kind of ingrain that and instill that into their little minds.
Dairy Max, a sponsor for the event, is encouraging all Oklahoma schools and communities to utilize the program. Susan Allen is the program coordinator for Dairy Max.
Even though this is only for Edmond schools today, it is to highlight and make aware the Move More, Watch Less campaign, and all schools in the state can get on our website and download some resources so that the whole state can move more and watch less.
Showing Oklahoma's kids that fun can be had outside of the virtual world. Unfortunately, these young people remain in the minority. 92% of elementary schools do not have daily physical education classes year-round, and only 1/3 of high school students take some type of daily PE class.
So Courtney, how does junk food, how does that play into all of this?
Rob, vending machines are extremely popular in high schools. In fact, less than 20% of high school seniors admitted to eating fruits and vegetables at least 5 times a day.
Well, certainly some serious stuff. Thank you, Courtney. Well, getting their daily serving of fruit and veggies will be a little easier this fall for some students at an elementary school in Tulsa. As Dustin Milkey explains, work this spring should sprout some fresher food for next school year.
The sounds of construction swirled around the playground of Kendall Whittier Elementary School in Tulsa as a new greenhouse sprung from a pile of wood and PVC pipe. The Tulsa County Farm Bureau Women's Committee partnered with the school and provided the supplies and much of the labor for the greenhouse. Lotsie Spradling, chairperson of the committee, says her group wanted to provide agricultural education for the inner city schools students.
Well, I hope that they will be excited about getting to mess in the dirt. That's always a fun thing for a kid. And actually grow something. You know, that's a good feeling to know that you have given life to something. We just hope that they really get connected back to the earth and how things are done, you know, in our field.
Paul Thomas, Community Schools Coordinator for Kendall Whittier Elementary, says the greenhouse will produce not only plants, but a bounty of education for students.
The idea is to provide kids with as many varied experiences as possible, and this one is important because most of our kids do not have a relationship or an idea of where food comes from, and have begun to understand that there is a life outside the urban core, which they primarily come from.
So what plants can students look forward to growing?
We're going to have flowers, annuals for flower beds, various food products like spinach and lettuce and tomatoes, and just all the normal garden type things that you might find in anybody's garden.
And you can bet the students are excited. Indra Coronado is a 5th grader. She looks forward to seeing the greenhouse full of colorful plants. The time and effort others put into the project impressed her.
I think that the people who want to help my school and help us build a greenhouse are pretty cool if they're trying to spend their time helping others.
And while the greenhouse was built in a little more than one day, Thomas says the lessons the greenhouse provides will last a lifetime.
Will allow us to not only give kids the experience of planting and harvesting and reaping the rewards of what they do, but in some cases we're going to plant and nurture plants to sell so they can learn financial literacy, fundraising, things of that sort. These kinds of things this greenhouse will allow us to do.
Coming up next, Oklahoma's food cooperatives. And later, the shirt company made famous by Garth Brooks.
Well, an Oklahoma organization is getting back to the basics to advance what they believe is the future of food. As our Russ Joel shows us, it's a new kind of grocery store where products come from local farmers and customers come with a smile.
Kim Barker's job is pretty egg-sighting.
Well, I'm checking eggs in. Okay. We check everything in, so if something comes up missing, we know to look for it.
Kim is only one of over 100 producers here at the Oklahoma Food Cooperative, a revolutionary statewide program that's changing the way Oklahomans stock their pantries.
It provides a direct connection between customers and producers, and they get that handshake. They get to know who the producer is, and they have some faith in their production methods, and what they're buying is really what it's advertised to be.
If you've lived in rural America for any length of time, chances are you're already familiar with the concept of a co-op. Patrons are considered members who join by buying a small stake in the venture, about $50 per year. Then, during the first week of every month, these members can order a variety of products directly from a group of over 100 independent farmers from throughout the state.
Local food producers tend to use less chemicals, less pesticides, less herbicides, and grow in more natural and organic ways.
This is Bob Waldrop, the man behind the co-op who founded it out of a desire to connect Oklahoma residents to a plethora of food produced right here in the state.
A giant tomato grower will choose his varieties of tomatoes based on what can be picked green and shipped well for thousands of miles, whereas your local grower will choose varieties based on how good they taste.
In addition to bringing together a variety of wholesome local edibles, the co-op also brings together the faces and hands behind all those products, something that keeps members coming back month after month.
You get to know your producers and
talk to them and ask them personal questions, and also if you have specific needs, you can ask them to grow for you.
And after it's all sorted and packed, orders are loaded onto trucks and delivered to about 30 different pickup sites in every corner of the state.
But I'd say we've got about 20 coolers, refrigerated and frozen total, and another 20 totes full of dry goods, if not more.
Matt Birch has volunteered to deliver the orders for a pickup site in northwest Oklahoma City. And in keeping with the co-op's mission, even his biodiesel truck runs a little more efficiently.
Local producers provide me with 90-some-odd%, I'd say, of my, caloric intake, or just however you want to call it. I don't have to do much grocery shopping, hardly at all. And whenever I do, a lot of times I'll go to places that even carry a lot of the producers that we're carrying right now. So.
And at long last, after weeks of growing, sorting, hauling, and shipping, these wholesome goods finally meet their consumers, who usually happen to be the same people who produce them.
I think it is very beneficial to small farmers like us who are trying to break into a market.
Consumers know where it comes from. They can actually call the producer.
I think it's the way to shop. It's 1,200 miles fresher.
Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV. Or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes. Well, there was a time in the 1990s that country bars were a bright and colorful place. And not just because of the characters inside, but because of the shirts that they wore. Called Bettah, these shirts are best known for their bold designs and bright colors. And while styles do change, this Western wear clothing manufacturer hasn't. Our DeJuan Brumfield takes us for a visit.
Inside this rustic building, Nancy Tate has a pictorial history of Bettah clothes. But the most important picture to store owner Nancy Tate is the one of her son. He is the reason why Bettah clothing store exists today.
We've been here 26 years. It was a company that my son designed some shirts because he didn't like the way they all were and when he was in college rodeoing.
And since the company took off over a quarter of a century ago, business has not slowed down. A hands-on business owner, Tate oversees each step needed to create these Bettah originals before being shipped around the world.
I've got an order in there today from Denmark, New Hampshire, Ukraine, Vermont, Germany. See, there's 3 in a row to Germany.
Julie White Eagle has worked for Bettah for 15 years, sewing all types of shirts to be sent all types of places.
And this is from that guy from Germany that she was talking about a while ago, and he designed this himself, and I'll press everything like this. A lot of stuff, a lot of different colors on there, so I'll have to pin those on individually, like that. And then I'll sew it on all together there.
Plenty of attention goes into the production of a shirt from Bettah. It can take anywhere from 45 minutes to 3 hours to complete one shirt. Next, the shirt is ironed and shipped around the world.
If there's a demand for it, we usually can make it.
A small-town store with worldwide appeal.
Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, we sit down with the Chief Executive Officer for the state of Oklahoma, Governor Mary Fowler.
While we're doing good in Oklahoma, we're going to continue to focus on pro-growth job opportunities, focus on good legislation. Certainly education is the key to having a stronger, highly skilled, educated workforce. It's going to make a big difference in job retention, job creation, and attracting new industry.
A conversation with Governor Mary Fowler, an Oklahoma show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, from the very first time I traveled to Cuba, I was struck by just how fit everyone was. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Cuba's communist-controlled government had a hard time feeding folks. Today, though, you can find farmers' markets that carry some of the best-looking fruits and vegetables I've ever seen. But while I was there, I noticed people passing these by to go into a back room. There I found government officials passing out subsistence items like dried beans and rice. I was quickly told to turn off my camera because undoubtedly they didn't want me to show any disparities between rich and poor in a nation whose governing doctrine says everyone is equal. Now, one area I did notice in Cuba that seemed extremely equal is with exercise. In Havana's town square, you can find children playing organized games by the government. And right next to them, a group of elderly doing their own age-appropriate exercises. Now, I'm not trying to convince anyone that Cuba is some sort of workers' paradise, but I do know they sure fit in their jeans better than we do here in the U.S. I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education, the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food and Forestry, and OETA, the Oklahoma Network. Copies of today's show are available on our website, okhorizon.com. Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.